Hello everybody, Joe Perez from Flipping Unleashed. Today we're going to talk about the truth about realtors and more importantly, when to love them and when to hate them, okay? And to know the difference between the two. So stick around, there's some great content here and I'm going to give you guys some bonus stuff at the end. Okay, love them. One, the obvious, when they find you deals. When they bring you deals, that is freaking awesome. There's a lot of realtors out there that have what's called pocket listings. A pocket listing means that it's not listed on the multiple listing service. For all you who don't know what that is, that means it's a website where all the realtors list their properties so the general public can see them. Well, a lot of realtors will actually have a deal where it's not listed there, so it's kind of like a secret, and they'll give you a phone call and they give you first dibs and you don't have to worry about competing with everybody else. Or other realtors will actually have it listed, but they know you and they like you and they're really cool. So what they do is act kind of like as gatekeepers. They're like, okay, hey Joe, I just got this offer. I've got this listing and the guy came in at this much, but if you hurry up and submit your offer, I'll make sure to get that offer to the seller right away, you know? The point is that you love that realtor that gives you every chance to get the deal and gives you first shot at it. That's when you absolutely love them. Second reason I love them, you know, when they actually work for you. When they truly work for you. And what I mean by that? Well, like you're selling your home, right? You're selling your home and you have this realtor who is listing your home for you. It means that they're the ones that have it on the market and all the other realtors are contacting them, right? I love a realtor who fields all the phone calls, doesn't pass them over to their assistant, but talks to them a lot, and they actually do a little bit of selling. They're like, oh my God, sir, you're gonna love this home, you know, to the agent. This guy did so much work and all the work was well done and he pulled permits. Oh my God, I freaking love it. I love the way it's designed and all that. And they're sitting there building value. And they're also creating a little bit of a aura, an air of excitement when they're like, oh, by the way, we've had a lot of phone calls, we had a lot of activity, so I suggest you, work hard and get your offer in as soon as possible. I mean, that's the kind of realtor that could easily get you like a 5–10% bump in the sales price just for the fact that they're actually working hard and helping to sell your product a little bit, you know, helping to advertise the product. Number three, one of the things that makes you want to love your realtor is when they have a steady flow of deals. And what do I mean by that? Some of these realtors are just amazing. They're amazing networkers. They know all kinds of people in all kinds of situations that are constantly referring them stuff, you know? So these people are giving you 1 or 2 deals a month. They're always calling you. So you look back at the end of the year at most of your income and you're like, wow, so-and-so realtor got me this percent or that percent. You get a realtor like that, you can't help but love them. You know, it's like a wholesaler. They're a good wholesaler will always come across all kinds of deals for you. So the fourth reason to love a realtor is cost. They don't cost you anything. And what I mean by that? Well, when a realtor, most of the times, when they're representing you on a purchase, the seller pays their commission. And I know a lot of realtors that are content to get that. Now, every now and then I might toss them a bone on the side, toss them a little extra because I appreciate them, thinking of me. But for the most part, it's not mandatory on their part. The realtors are, most of them are more than content to get their compensation from the seller if they're representing you in the purchase transaction. And if they are selling your home for you, right? You bought the home, you rehabbed it, you got it on the market, well, you're paying them a commission for listing the home for you, right? And that's a cost you factored into your deal anyways, so it's not like an additional cost. It's not like sometimes you have a wholesaler or a referral source who refers you the deal where, they bought the home for $430 and they call you up, hey Joe, I could sell you this home for $445, $450. Okay, well what'd that cost? It cost you an extra 15, 20 grand. So that's one of the things you gotta love about a realtor. Somebody else is paying that finder's fee, so to speak. Okay, so now let's talk about hate them. I know there's a lot of realtors going to go out there why are you talking about hating us and why are you being a hater? Well, I think it's cool for you guys to hear our perspective on sometimes some of the things that happens that maybe don't help us a lot. So let's go on some of the basic reasons that I found realtors sometimes to be difficult. One is you got this great deal, you're negotiating with the seller, right? One-on-one, it's a referral, whatever, it's not on the market necessarily, right? And you're negotiating one-on-one with the seller, and you've got the seller down to some really good terms, a price that makes sense for you, and you're like letting the seller know, hey, I'm buying the home as is, it's cash, I'm gonna close quickly or whatever, and you don't have to pay any commissions and things like that. And the seller's like getting really excited, then all of a sudden the seller might mention to their neighbor, their friend, the church member, they're like, oh, well, I know a realtor you can talk to, and then all of a sudden the realtor's calling them up, and the realtor's like, oh no, I can get you more money for the house. I found that many times a realtor will kind of obstruct your deal, and the reason is because if you're buying a home directly from a seller, the realtor doesn't get paid any commission. And they don't understand that. That's like fundamentally contrary to their whole career. Their whole career is they assist in sales, provide some function that they feel is necessary, right? Which is not always, because I bought plenty of homes for sale by owner, but yet they feel that their function merits a commission, and many times it does. So what you're gonna find is sometimes you're dealing with the seller, everything's going great, he wants to deal with you, he wants to take the terms, then all of a sudden some realtor jumps, he's like, oh no, sir, I can list a home and I can get you X amount of dollars more. And I found that many times they tend to promise more than what they really can provide, but who cares? Because by then they've killed your deal. So when that happens, realtors, they're not on my Christmas dinner list. Second reason why sometimes it's very difficult is you get a referral. Your assistant, somebody finds some kick-ass property on the MLS, whatever, and so you're contacting that agent and you're like, hey, hi, how are you? My name is Joe Perez, I'm a real estate investor. Hey, I'd love to work with you. And you could tell right away you're kind of being blown off. You're asking them, where should my offer be? They don't want to answer the questions. Matter of fact, they're kind of like dissuading you from writing an offer. Oh, well, I already have 17 offers. I'm not sure that the seller's going to want to entertain more offers. And then you're like, okay, well, where do I need to be on my offer? What's the numbers? Give me a clue. Oh, I really can't say. All I can say is if you want to submit an offer, submit your best offer. Okay, well, when's the seller going to get back to me? Oh, I don't really know, sir. I'm just going to submit them. I'm always going to get back. Okay, so you ask the listing agent, well, Bob, what if we do this, Bob? Why don't you write the offer for me? Oh, that's okay, sir. I already have other offers I've written. That's okay. Well, listen, when you come across that, that's a realtor basically who's kind of probably got a buyer in mind, and he's kind of steering the seller towards that buyer. Probably that buyer promised them, hey, you know what, I'll write the offer with you, so that realtor gets both the commissions, a commission for listing the home, selling the home. Maybe it's a flipper, and afterwards he promised that realtor the commission to list the home. So all you can do in that situation is try to offer the realtor the same terms, but you'll find that once they're in bed with somebody, you're probably not gonna get the deal, and that's when you're like, best thing you can do on those deals is recognize, smell what's happening, and don't even waste your time. At some point, give it a try, see if you can make it work. If not, just spend your energy and move on to the next deal. And then number 3, it's not easy to get deals. I mean, it's not impossible, but you work hard. You work hard and you get your deal and you fix up your home, and it's not easy to get to that point. You finally got it on the market. You know what you want? You have a lot of time and energy invested into it, and you want some sort of vehicle, some sort of mechanism that's going to help you, exit strategy, help you sell your place and finally get paid, right? Isn't that when we get paid at the very end when the property sells? And who usually has the keys to that? It's the realtor you hire to list your property. So sometimes I hate when you're in a situation that you get this listing agent who's representing you. They're the ones talking to all the potential buyers, all the agents and all that, right? And they're very passive. They just put the home on the MLS and just kind of sit back and wait. And a lot of the phone calls, they'll be like, yeah, it's still available. You get some agents who want to like wrangle a little bit on the phone with you. Well, what's going on? Is there any flexibility, this and that? And you got to like those agents because they're showing some interest, and you got to kind of engage them. There's your chance to build some value, That's when you hope you have an agent who'll be like, oh, the seller's done great work on the property, and, you're going to love it and blah, blah, blah. And just kind of work with you. But you'll find that some agents, once they get that contract signed, once they get that listing and they feel they have you under contract, they're done. They just kind of put it there and just kind of wait. And so you're calling them up, hey, what's going on? Oh, nothing. And then all they are is kind of messengers. When they finally get an offer, they bring it to you, and they don't really play a very active role in trying to get you the best price possible. And then, so here's your bonus. And this bonus actually works both ways, because what you're going to find is in this industry, many times, you will interact with a real estate agent in one of two ways. Either they represent you as the buyer or they represent you as the seller, okay? And in both of those situations, the bottom line is that we got to kick ass in this business, period, point blank. When we find a good deal, we got to get it closed. And we got to get it closed, and we got to get it closed at terms that make sense. And when you buy a home, there's a process involved. You know, there's a process involved, and you got to go through certain items. Maybe you're getting a loan, there's an appraisal, there's a lender to work with, things like that. You got to make sure that things are happening. You got to make sure also too that the seller's providing you with the documents you need. They're signing off on things. If the seller's looking for a new place, you got to make sure that that's progressing well. There's so many things that interact and involve a seller. Maybe there's some undisclosed repair issues and all of a sudden you're like, this deal's not penciling out that well. So you want to have an agent who fights for you a little bit. And an agent who won't fight for you a little bit, who won't like monitor that process, that doesn't help. As a matter of fact, that could really hurt your deal and put you in jeopardy of losing your deal. And the same thing happens on the flip side when you're selling the home. Hey, a lot of buyers, you know, talk a big game. I can do this, I can do that. Well, you know what? You got to make sure they get it done. If they're getting a loan, you got to make sure they get their freaking loan. You got to make sure that they get their appraisal and title, all this other stuff. They have their funds. You verify they have their funds. You verify that they are who they say they are, that, you know, they're pre-qualified, they have, you know, all the documentation to prove it. You got to make sure that they're signing off on what's called contingencies. Contingencies are a way that a buyer can get out of buying a home. Well, you got to make sure that they're signing off on those things. They're waiving those things, you know, as the contract calls for it. You got to make sure that they're constantly performing. Your agent should be calling up the lender, making sure there's no holdup. You don't want to find out later on that something went wrong. This guy got declined. They haven't said anything. They're keeping quiet. They're going to a new lender. And some realtors just don't do that. Once again, they feel like they have you under contract. Okay, I put the home on the market. Okay, Joe, we got a buyer now. Yay, congratulations, Joe. Here's your bottle of wine. Well, that's fine and dandy, but I'm not going to drink that bottle of wine until my deal closes and I get paid, right? Isn't that what it all comes down to? And you're so close to the finish line, you need to have a sprinter there with you. You want your realtor to be a sprinter and to monitor that thing and not sit around and just be passive. Because if you're passive, when things go wrong, and many times a loan is a complex thing that involves multiple parties, sometimes one party won't produce. Your closing agent won't do something, the lender, the title insurance, buyer, seller, whatever. There's so many parties involved that you might need something from one of these parties, and you need a proactive agent who's always looking at those things. So if the agent's not doing that, well, guess what? You're going to be angry, you're going to be frustrated. So those are the moments that I probably can get really frustrated and I want to strangle them. And to be honest, that's one of the things that motivated me that I actually got my license. At one point, I decided that I was going to sell my properties exactly for that reason. Because I thought to myself, no one's going to work harder to sell my properties than I am. No one's going to put forth the energy that I am and be so concerned. And I have gotten incredible results. Now, it's not very scalable what I'm doing. In other words, you get to the point that it becomes very difficult. So you hire good assistants and you train them in everything you do so that they can help handle all your listings as well. But I can tell you that ever since I've been doing that, I make a lot more money. It's very easy for me to command the highest prices on my properties because at every junction, I'm so involved in the deal that I make sure to constantly build value and address any problems that might cause a decline in my net. Any issues, the buyer wanting concessions or whatever. We're really good at working around all those things because we're very active. Okay? So listen, hopefully that helps you guys, and hopefully you guys can help put realtors in perspective. Sometimes they're the greatest people in the world, and other times they can be a little bit difficult. And hopefully today gave you guys a good idea of what are the warning signs to kind of begin to realize what kind of realtor am I going to be working with. Is it one that I'm going to love him or hate him? All right? So you guys, please subscribe, keep watching the videos, and look forward to giving you guys more content.